All right, welcome to the program. Joe Tilley along with Justin Folks, 3HL Tour Talk, T3HL. Sorry. I'm gonna can we reload?
3HL Weekly. It's live. It's
Okay.
live.
Yeah,
3HL Weekly.
All right.
Go.
Yeah, no, here we go. How you doing? Glad to have you with us. Joe Tilley along with Justin Folks. It's time for 3HL Weekly. Coming up. Okay, here we go.
There we go.
Yeah. Justin Fox, founder and president of 3HL. Tell me, Justin, we just saw that spot for Backers. Tell us how Backers ties into 3HL.
So, interesting questions. Backers was actually created out of necessity for the 3HL. So, back when I started the 3HL in 2015, was looking for ways to fund both the league and teams in the league, or find ways to sort of not only get money in or funding in for the teams, but also engage the communities that supported or would potentially support those teams. And so I came across the concept of equity crowdfunding, whereby essentially, and in 2016 in Ontario, specifically in Canada wide, the governments enacted new legislation that allowed for equity crowdfunding. So prior to that, it was illegal for a private company to have more than 50 investors, and predominantly or primarily all of those investors were high net worth or accredited individuals. So people with, multiple millions of dollars of liquid cash, which is, maybe 1% to 2% of the population. So with equity crowdfunding, it really opens up the door where now a private company can go out to the public, to the everyday, to the fans, to the community, to what would be called non-accredited or retail investors, and can now sell equity, so actual shares in their business, to investors, those retail investors, with a nominal amount of money. So on the Backers platform, which we built out of necessity again, saw the new rules, new legislation. Not a lot of people were facilitating it. So I thought, hey, I have a use case for it. I looked around a little bit, those that were participating or starting to build out platforms really weren't accommodating it for it. And so I decided to build out Backers. But as we've been building out Backers, one of the things that we've been able to do is not only apply the equity crowdfunding, where now they can go out and sell, raise millions of dollars from the community, for their business, similar to venture capital or going out and selling, going public. The business is able to bring in hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of dollars of investments into the business. But now we tokenize the assets, so we now use blockchain technology. We tokenize the asset, we tokenize those shares, we tokenize that equity, the stock, whatever you want to call it. We tokenize it. It's now on the blockchain, and now investors hold those tokens. One token equals one share, right? So I think I've got another video here. Just I'll show you a quick one. One token. Not that we really needed the video, but one token equals one share. It's cool when you can throw videos in.
Yeah, why not?
I'm producing as I'm live here, right? But essentially, one token equals one share. And so with Backers, what we've been able to do, and with the 3HL now, is we're able to create and tokenize the underlying shares or stocks for each of these teams. So what that enables us to do with the 3HL is now we're able to go out. We have, and this is something we'll talk about today, I guess, the concept of a team founder. The team founder is very different from a team owner, right? So typically in pro sports, you've got a team owner or an ownership group. The idea of a team founder, just to kind of hit the message home, is they're coming in with that initial maybe investment It's pretty nominal at this point, but initial investment to get the team or launch the team or found the team. So for example, if somebody comes to us from, let's say Brampton or Toronto or Markham or Vancouver or, New York City, whatever, Buffalo, and they say, hey, I want to have a team on the 3HL tour from my community, my city, they would put a nominal or initial investment down. They would actually invest into the 3HL. And then they now are a founder of that team. And now the next step is they now are responsible to basically grow that team, grow that organization in a slightly different manner than normally would happen. They're actually going to go out and they're going to go find, let's say, 1,000 investors from that community. Those investors are now going to invest in that team. They're going to become shareholders of that team. So it's like the Toronto Maple Leafs, MLSE, they're a publicly traded company. You can own a share in MLSE on the TSX, Toronto Stock Exchange. Similarly, somebody in Toronto can own a share of the Toronto Bees. Similarly, someone in London can own a share or equity in the London Threes, right? Similarly, or whatever the teams are. I mean, those were some of the previous teams, right? So as these team founders come on board and look to launch their community team, they will then go out to the community, and then the community is the ones, or are the ones, that are going to invest in that team, and they're going to become actual owners, part owners, fractional owners of the team. And all of that will be tokenized on the blockchain, obviously powered by backers. There's a huge kind of opportunity to engage fans with this tokenization of the shares. That's kind of step one. So, ideally over the next sort of 12 months, all of the teams that are coming on, as we've talked about, we're probably close to 5-6 teams right now. They're going to start this process. They're going to be out there raising capital, raising money from their community for people to invest in those teams. And so they'll now have tokens. And again, we could probably talk about the difference, what a token, what an NFT versus a security token. They will have security tokens, what are the next, I believe, evolution, or the next, they're better than an NFT, but we'll talk about that. I don't know. That's where we're kind of at right now.
Okay, so for when you're talking about team founders, what qualifications are you looking for in a team founder, and what will the obligation be?
So typically a team founder, I mean, we've got a couple different sort of models right now with people, looking at some of the people that are, that we're working with currently. I think a team founder is somebody who, maybe a former player, has some prominence in the community. Doesn't necessarily have to be, a notable, player, but, somebody maybe has prominence, or somebody who's a local, businessman, woman, person, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, it's International Women's Day, so shout out to all the women. So women, men, it doesn't matter, or they. We can go all the walks of life. Can basically step up, and it's a fairly nominal investment, the initial investment, to get the team started. Typically you look at, the Seattle Kraken, it was several, hundreds of millions of dollars to get that team up and running, as sort of the initial investment into the league. It's nowhere near that, obviously. Obviously the 3HL slightly lower in prominence, but the idea is that they are a community leader, somebody within the community that cares about the community, the city, the town that they're founding a team from. And then from an obligation or kind of, expectation, I wouldn't say obligation, but expectation would be they would go out, and the expectation is that they would go out and grow sort of organically and through various, marketing initiatives and meet and greets and whatever. They would go out and grow the prominence of their team in that community, and they grow the following, grow the fan base, grow the investor base, or as we call them, obviously, grow the backers of that team, right? So the fans now are invested and supporting the team, both financially and sort of, through their various activities. And so it's really a community builder, a community organizer, somebody that, can go out, talk to people and say, hey, we're bringing a professional, hockey team to represent your community, jump on board, get on the bandwagon, let's kind of go, right? And that's really what the objective is. Obviously, there's some business aspects around it. They themselves might be potentially the GM or coach year one, or obviously we're growing it sort of organically, but they would be the ones. They'd probably go out and hire a marketing manager, different people to be a part of that team and that organization. They'd be out recruiting players potentially to play on the team so that they can win tournaments, because the name of the game in the 3AHL is you don't make money unless you win games on game day, right? In the tournaments, right? So that's really, the goal is for them to go out, build a community, and then build a strong, solid hockey team to go out and compete week in, week out on the 3HL tour.
Yeah. So like what a lot of people would want to know is what kind of initial outlay are they looking at as a team founder?
So right now, the first 8, we're looking at $3,000 is the initial investment to become a team founder. Once those 8 are in, we will then look to see if we bump that up. Eventually, I mean, you look at sort of any kind of sports league, whether it be junior, semi-pro, pro, any type of, at any sport, you're looking at that initial investment, probably 5,000 to 10,000 would typically be what you're looking at. And then it would go up from there. Like I said, Seattle Kraken was, hundreds of millions of dollars as an initial investment for them to join the NHL. So that rate is going to change over time. But right now, for the first 8, we've earmarked it at $3,000 for the team founder as the initial investment.
So if I'm going to be a team founder, say for example the Clarington franchise, and I'm going to throw that $3,000 out there, and now I'm a team founder / owner, and now I can send notes out to all my friends and colleagues, or if I'm a local politician, to get people excited about the new Clarington franchise and the 3HL, and as a result of that, you will go to backers to purchase your tokens in that Clarington franchise. Is that basically how it's going to work?
Exactly. So on the backers platform, the Clarington team, right? So it'd be Clarington Cats Inc. I don't know, whatever whatever Clarington Caterpillars Inc. Right?
Panthers.
The Clarington Panthers. Is that already a team? I was trying to avoid any potential overlaps. But yeah, the Clarington Hockey Team Inc. Would have a page on backers that would sort of outline, who they are, what they're doing, the leadership of the team. And basically, investors would come to you'd send links out to various people. You'd build up that following. You'd obviously, as I mentioned, you'd incorporate the business would be step one. You'd probably establish, your social media channels, and you start to build that momentum. So that's really where, when you get a notable community member that's part of it, right? And you build up that community and really get the excitement and the buzz going about Clarington or Leamington or, Caledon, having a pro hockey team that's going to represent their community, playing week in, week out on the 3HL tour, which, we'll be broadcasting, sort of across multiple channels and including, we're in discussions right now rebroadcasting through Sportsnet. So, there's definitely going to be a broad reach. So it'll be super exciting to have, all these communities supporting their team and then watching them on TV or on, various mediums. Now, not a lot of people, I guess, watch TV per se, but, streaming it on, their laptop, their phone, or wherever else they decide to watch it from. So, and then if they want to invest, they go to the backers site and they can invest in the team right there on the backers platform.
Yeah. So if you watch 3-on-3 hockey and you've seen the potential there for growth in this particular sport, and you live in a community and you have faith that this is going to be a very successful league, and if you get on the ground floor, you can do it for a real small, minimal investment, and something that will grow. And if you've watched, 3-on-3 hockey, if you're a fan of hockey, how can you not like 3-on-3 hockey? So I can see that the potential for, for this league really taking off is certainly
Right.
there. And here's an opportunity to get on the ground floor, even get friends involved, get other members of your community that you know might want to be involved. It's an opportunity to get a team here on the ground floor, grow that team in your community, bring the community together, and basically you got a pro hockey franchise in
Exactly.
your community,
Exactly. In
and
your community.
you have a say in the management of this team. You got a say in what direction this team is going. Even as a small investor, you can go out and watch the tryouts. You can go
All of it.
do whatever it takes, and there's lots of opportunity there for somebody to get involved in it. And you're gonna, hey man, I own a hockey team. I own a pro hockey team.
That's it, right?
Pretty
So
cool to be
I
able to say
mean,
that.
exactly. It's sort of that ego aspect. I mean, a lot of people ask like, what's the return on investment, right? So the ROI is one, yes, you now own and are part of a community professional sports team that represents your community. So that's the one aspect. Then obviously the other aspect is, yeah, you're getting in early on. It's early days. If you're part of the first 8, our goal is to get to 64 teams. You're getting in early on, so you're going to get the appreciation of the value of the team. So maybe you're buying at 10 cents a share, and now next year it's $1 a share, and 5 years from now it's $10 a share. You've just gone from 10 times to 100 times the valuation. So whatever your initial investment is,
Right.
obviously there's no guarantees in any of this. I think people have to say this is not financial advice, but the idea is that you're getting in, you're owning a team. There's definitely opportunity there. One of the things I will say though, which is kind of cool, and I think I mentioned this to you off air, is the DAO, right? I know we're going to talk a little bit about the DAO concept, right? It's decentralized autonomous organization. So one of the things that we're working at with backers is it's all well and good to tokenize the asset, but take it to the next level. Everyone's familiar with NFTs, right? Non-fungible tokens, and the buzz around NFTs and how they represent artwork or whatever they represent. And then typically with the NFT comes some sort of almost like membership or access to certain aspects. Right? You've got the Fuzzy Monkey Ape Club or whatever, right? I mean, it's Board Yacht Ape Club, Board Ape Yacht Club. But anyways, the idea here is now these security tokens that actually represent the ownership. So they're not just a token that represents some random artwork and then also gives you access. These are tokens that represent shares, and you can take it to the next level, and you can also have it represent access to the team. And through the use of a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, your actions, your activities as a shareholder can then also be rewarded. So it's not just one person sort of at the top, dictating what everyone kind of does. It's now everyone as sort of a collective, all working together and all participating and all generating tokens, and all generating sort of compensation in the form of those equity tokens for their activities. So the more you participate, both as a fan / owner, or manager / owner, or GM / owner, or which I guess manager, GM, same thing, player, so players also will generate more tokens. So it becomes this almost like we talked about this the other day, an ESOP, right? An employee share option plan where employees get perks of more shares by working in that company, right? This is the same idea where now it's you get the perk of benefit of more shares for your participation, and those specific participation metrics, if you will, or tasks or whatever, will all be a part of that. And then it brings in things like talk about the voting or the management of the team. Now all shareholders will benefit from the financial gains of the team, and all shareholders will also contribute to the management and the operation of the team. And the more you contribute, obviously, the more you get back out of it.
Right. In the social media world, things have changed a lot, and it won't be like you have to sit back and, as a Maple Leaf shareholder, go along with whatever Harold says. You can You can actually have a say in what happens, right?
There you go,
And-
Harold.
Yeah, right.
Harold Ballard, as we're
Yes, of course.
we talked about him the other day. The only thing I know, I mean, he's a little sort of right
Before your
around
time.
when I was
Yeah,
a
yeah.
kid. Well, he's sort of when I was a kid, old Maple Leaf Gardens. But
Yeah.
I heard a story. Maybe you can tell this story that he lived in the arena.
Yeah.
that's all I
Lived
ever
in the
remember.
Gardens. Right.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
was
and
sort of
he
blew
would-
my mind back in the day,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he would grab a young player, and show him around the building and bring him up to his condo up there inside Maple Leaf Gardens. And Yolanda, his girlfriend, lived there, and it was pretty crazy old place. And he lived in it, and he stayed in his little bunker there and watched all the games and did his thing. You can be a modern day version of that if you like, or you can just.
I don't know.
have your
That doesn't.
friends
That
involved.
sounds a
It
little
doesn't
dicey.
really go with the
That
flow
sounds
here.
a little dicey. He grabbed a
Yeah,
new
yeah.
player and brought him up to his
No,
bunker
no, it
with his
wasn't like that.
girlfriend.
No,
It wasn't
just,
like that.
They were
Keep
they
my
were-
head
they
out
were-
of the
they
gutter,
were-
right?
They were
Yeah, yeah.
thrilled that
Yeah.
the owner
Meet the
I mean,
owner.
there's
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that happened at Maple Leaf Gardens, but it wasn't
I'm
Harold.
sure. I'm sure. But
Anyway, the NFT thing you mentioned too. My son is into he produces NFT art, so it's so we're
Perfect.
familiar with that stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, that's pretty much wraps it up for this week's edition of 3HL Weekly.
Yep.
For Justin Fox, the founder and president of 3HL Tour, I'm Joe Tilley. We'll see you again soon.
Awesome. Hey Joe, it's interesting you mentioned your son does NFTs. You should connect with him, or we should connect, because that's the whole idea. NFTs is sort of one aspect, but they're the non-regulated, right? So they're sort of this unregulated artwork,
Right.
whereas security tokens are essentially the exact same thing as an NFT. Harder for people to say maybe, but it's the exact same technology underlying, except they're regulated. So it represents the actual ownership of a company, but we still do NFTs as well, non-fungible tokens. Essentially what we're doing are fungible tokens. So they're FTs if you really wanted to compare the two. So but the cool thing with what we're doing with the the security token side is that you can have all the functionality that an NFT does, but now it's regulated and represents an actual asset, not just artwork. But the artwork stuff's cool. Does he draw, or like what kind of artwork?
Oh, he
is
paints,
he doing?
but he's like what he does is he offers NFTs, and he can also offer you the original piece. He'll make an original piece. Go to tylertilley.com and you'll see all the stuff. But
cool.
If you
go to tylertilley.com, everyone.
Yeah.
Cool.
And so he'll make an original art piece, and then he'll make it into an NFT.
Cool.
And it's wild. So you can actually
I'd love to have some.
NFT.
I'm going to go to tylertilley.com. Check it out. We're creating a bit of an NFT.
And he sells them via cryptocurrency and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's good times. Cool. Awesome, Joe. Okay. Everyone else, I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you.